Hey, you lovely lot. How are you? Welcome or welcome back. Tonight I'm going to do a card pull. We're going to play with some cards. We're going to see what Spirit has in terms of guidance, activations and advice for us as we move through this eclipse portal. Let's just set the space. If you feel called to receive, you are so welcome. Holy Spirit. So we cleanse and clear the field through our loving intention, connect through the heart space, give thanks to this sacred, beautiful earth and to our divine vessels in this moment. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for overseeing and overlighting this space. No weapon against me or this collective will prosper. Settle in, loves. I'm going to fire up some incense. Coming to you in a bit of flow this weekend. Felt like I've had to walk my own talk. Had intentions to get some stuff done yesterday afternoon and bring this message through or do this reading last night. But it just wasn't aligned. Come home from the trees in the afternoon. I had another message come through yesterday. I had a download, which we're going to weave into this. But at the time, I jumped on, recorded a transmission, and it just didn't save. It didn't upload. And I was like, okay. And then the whole time that was coming through, I was really heavy, like yawning, heavy through the body, tired, fatigued. I was cold, had a big wrap on. It was, it was quite intense. And then essentially that message that was coming through yesterday was, you think you know who you are, but you haven't even started. So that's what we're opening up with here. You think you know who you are, but you haven't even started. And the evening followed on from then with me having to surrender with what my body was asking, which was just to burn some incense, go inward, have a bath, be still, get an early night, right? And I realized in that process that there was kind of a deeper thread to the message that wanted to come through as a result of feeling it through my body. And what I was essentially tapping into that feeling was like this accumulation of mental energy, and being in that space of trying to work this through the mind, this whole process, what's happening at this time space in this reality and how we're feeling it, experiencing it through our body. You know, there's a lot of, we talk about perspective a lot and everything, you know, we literally, our own unique perspective and beliefs literally codes our reality, right? And that's one purpose of this space, right? It's to expand in a space of non-judgment, you know, and experience and reflect and learn from and grow with all the pieces and parts that are present for our human and how this whole experience translates through our human. Okay, we're becoming divine through our consciousness, through our awareness, through our knowledge of self, but it's all happening through this human body, which essentially is holding the record of the past and a lot of the reactions, and you know, it can feel so dense. So I went into this whole thing where like my body was just, and it just felt, and what I realized is I'm actually feeling what it feels like in terms of the discomfort, the mismatch, the unalignment of what it feels like to be really like in the head, in the mind space. And this is where I used to live. And a lot of people out there in 3D consciousness, especially the unawakened collective, they live in this mental space. And it came through my body yesterday and felt so foreign now because I've dismantled a lot of the attachments in my mind, so I don't live in that space anymore. And it was like a reminder through my body, through my empath, this is what it feels like, particularly now, particularly in this portal that we're in this energetic frequency that we're in, where there's availability, opportunity for the new, for something different. And as we oscillate backwards and forwards, and sometimes we occupy the space of the old, or we take something into the mind space when it doesn't really belong there, it feels almost unbearable. That is. So, yes, we're going to unpack that message today, see what's on the cards for the week. And I want to share with you as well, like, look how, I don't know, something about these feathers. Look at that feather. It's just so like, it's just perfection in terms of a feather. Like I found some yesterday, which were literally like just perfect specimens. Look. They're just so magical. I've got a lot of just redone my table and my altar, and I've got some really magical things here. I've got a shell from Cornwall. That's really pretty, such a pretty pink colour. Don't know whether you can see that. And I've also got a crystal that was gifted to me by the earth from Merlin's cave at Tintagel. And I feel very connected to Avalon right now. Since leaving, I don't know, there's something weaving that's very powerful with the energy and the frequency there. And I'm actually really looking forward to when I visit and being able to bring a transmission from that space. Okay, let's pop that out the way. Settle in, take a breath. Holy Spirit, Great Mother, Divine Holy Mother. Isis, Lady Isis is stepping forward again tonight, which is forming a pattern now. Clear. I don't ritualize the moon or follow the moon in that way. I acknowledge it as a planetary body and the effect that it has on our body, but I don't get into it any more than that. And I've noticed since I've reopened this channel how every time the reading aligns with a moon cycle, the energy of Isis wants to step in. And it's like this very deep, primal, organic, feminine consciousness and support that comes in on this cycle, almost like as a true presence. In contrast to any spaces where there is a potential for a leak in power, because the divine feminine is about containment of power in the most divine, true and sovereign way, because from that space, that is the overflowing cup. And from that space, she can serve in abundance, but not at a cost to herself, right? Oh, well, interesting. Bottom of the deck. So we're going to start with the Akashic Tarot. Then we're going to move to the traditional tarot, and then we're going to close out with an Isis Oracle message. I'm going to burn some earth crystals. Oh, I've got a jumper. Oh, wow. Okay, beautiful. We've got 2 scrolls cards. The scrolls are like the intellect, the idea, the movement, the air, the intelligence. Keep getting in nearly every reading at some point. I get a massive throat chakra, like bleh. There's so much clearing through our true voice right now, what we are speaking into existence, and also, family, how we speak to ourselves. Crucial. So we've got the karmic trench and diversity, 4 and 5. The numbers, and we've got another number 4 there as well with birth. So 4 and 5, like speaking to foundations, But then the 5 is the potential conflict. But it's just change, right? Diversity is really a beautiful card. It speaks to the opening of the consciousness in the acknowledgement of the new choices, opening to see, perceive things in truth, in the sense that there is a limitless, a smorgasbord, that's a word, isn't it, of opportunity available. And that's a positive kind of harnessing from that foundation of the number 4. But here we've got the 4 as the karmic trench. The karmic trench speaks to the patterns that we've created and we're in, the rut that we're in terms of our perception, because it is all a perception. At any given time, he can choose to stop digging in that trench. But it's like the focus is down and he's just carrying on. So the karmic trench is, yeah, it's like this moment, isn't it? This moment of potential birth, of the newness, of the new opportunity. And this was like the thread from last week. Two worlds, one foot in, one foot out. So it feels like an expansion from there, an acknowledgement and an expansion. But then what are we butting up against? We're butting up against the karmic trench. And that particular flavour of the trench can look different for each of us. But essentially, it's something from the past that's wishing to be let go. We're in the eclipse portal now. And what's coming now is there may not be completely clear sight. You may know straight away something that is being asked to release from your life, or something that you think, right, okay, that's no longer in alignment. It could be a thought pattern, a habit, a relationship, a job, whatever it is. But then there might be things coming to light at this time which are not necessarily what you thought they were, or they can give a different perspective. But we've got 2 beautiful cards here, and this is the potential. You know, the King of Cups. Cups is just roses, rather. It's cups in the traditional tarot, but roses, it's like everything harmonious and loving in the most authentic way. It's creating from that heart space of beauty. King, abundance, emperor energy. So this divine masculine presence that I feel like is a thread through from a couple of weeks ago, where Spirit was really asking us to pull through our determination, our perseverance, our dedication, that assertive male energy in the most divine way, pulling it through from the knowledge of our strength and really directing that into what we're being nudged forward to do. And here we have the same energy around the heart as well, around the felt experience. So can we become that emperor energy, maybe towards self as well? Is there a little bit of self-judgment when we're in the karmic trench? We're being asked to look at it in a different way. The energy of diversity, the number 5, things are changing. And there's conflict with that here, because the ego consciousness doesn't want to expand. It wants to hold on. But it's like, is it really serving us anymore? We're more wanting to feel like this every day, right? We don't want to be, we're birthing, you know, and that's a beautiful, you know, it couldn't be a more positive card, I guess, in that way. I'm just going to actually read a little bit from the guidebook around birth. So it speaks about the birch tree as well. It's got a deeper energy. So the sun shines upon a plain in England where stands an ancient henge in the distance and a grove of birch trees nearby. Upon many of the trees is carved the old Celtic Ogham letter, Beith, which represents the birch tree and stands for birth. A beautiful woman walks forward carrying a basket with the two children running toward her. With this card, it's time for a new start, perhaps an actual birth or a metaphorical one. An old phase is passing away and a new one begins. So yeah, it's this reference again. This is happening anyway. How are we going to respond to it or approach it? How much longer are we going to hang on to what doesn't serve us? But it's saying with this card, yeah, like our deepest in new beginnings, okay, in any new beginnings or something that feels like it's new and therefore unknown, but really it has roots in your deepest histories and past lives. There may be some labor involved, but it's a labor that bears fruit. This card is associated with new life in any way, sensuality. There may be a new energy in relationships, the family or the home. It could be giving birth to a creative project too. Whatever it is, celebrate and prepare for the wonderful growth and opportunities that are about to come, right? And that's so beautiful. Feel like this energy here, this roses energy, this heart energy really wants to be extended towards self, to allow this birth to midwife. We're midwifing this process to come out of the karmic trench. And let's just quickly to come out of the karmic. And what is there then? We come out, and what there is diversity, right? This speaks to our choice. With this card, you'll find it's time to diversify. There are many options for you to consider, and you should take a look at them all. Allow yourself to try new things, to go to new places, learn new subjects, break out in different directions and meet new people too. Don't worry about scattering your energy too thin. You're in a period of expansion, so use it. Let yourself go further afield than you planned. In the end, you will diversify in ways that introduce you to a whole new you. How beautiful. And this speaks, that energy as well at the end really brings in this awareness that at this particular moment, like things are moving in a different way. We're being asked to be different. We're being asked to recognize that sitting around thinking about things is not bringing us anything new. And actually, the newness that we are essentially wanting to feel and experience, clear, is coming as a result of and off the back of us being willing to take a new action. And that could be in our thoughts. In other words, I choose to think about myself differently. I choose to think about a situation differently. I choose to change a habit or a routine. I choose to have courage to use my voice in a situation where previously I stayed silent. Those type of, and these are the type of actions. Right, let's start that again. These are the type of actions where we break out of the patterning that has become like a prison. We've got to break that. It feels like a bit like a shell to me right now. Like we've got to break through that, because all the time it's there, we feel so uncomfortable now. Things are starting to feel unbearable in the old space. However that resonates. Take what resonates, leave the rest. But it could be a space in your mind, a way in which you've been thinking about yourself or another or life. It could be habits, patterns in relationships, whatever it is, it's the same theme, breaking patterns. They're not going to break from the outside. We have to break out through bringing divine intelligence in, taking the action in alignment with the frequency of the higher consciousness. Interesting. Yeah, so we've got another number 5. and the cups energy again. Right, so this is instability, isn't it? It speaks to the change. Look at the posture there. We've got the water energy here. Like this moment, can you feel like this kind of depth and unknowable aspect of this, the energetics right now, like this water energy? It's really deep, and it's asking us to surrender the mind. And this is what was coming through with that message yesterday. Whoever you think you are, or you think you know yourself, but you haven't even started. And it was like what was coming through with it was there was, this sense of the new, right? The birth energy, and being able to sense it. But then taking the dream, the sensation into the mind and trying to analyze it, work it out from there and map it out, or want to know how. And then there was this real friction in the body, this heaviness in the body, because it's showing us, it's messaging, the mind isn't the space to work this out. And here with this, we've got this referencing here to the instability of the moment, the change, which can bring freedom and loss, right? And here with the number 5 of cups, it speaks to feeling the loss, feeling regretful, focusing on what's leaving maybe. So it does, as well as the feeling energy with the water, it also speaks to me, hanging the head. It's like, yes, it's the feelings, but it's also being in those thought processes, being in the process of feeling disappointed with self, feeling like a failure. We're never a failure. And here we've got the King of Pentacles, more king energy, sovereign. And this is wealth. This is everything that comes from sovereignty. It's the most beautiful energy. Okay. 4 of Swords. So this speaks to the rest, recuperation. Okay, another 4. In the space of retreat, solitude, allowing the renewal. Drop into the foundations that you are, that you have. That's your stability. Work out the karmic trench from that place, because that's your center. So the 4 of Swords here, it's really asking us to come out of that mental, or maybe kind of redirect it in a way, or allow yourself the mental relaxation. Allow yourself the mental relaxation. This newness, the codes, the how, the path, everything that we are feeling, anticipating, everything we've asked for, we're not finding the way forward from the head. It's not happening. It's really, really key that we learn to feel our way through and come out of this pattern of behavior, or this pattern, this way of being where the mind wants to control. It wants to know the map. It wants to know what it looks like, how it's going to come, when it's going to come. That's what it does. The mind will mind. But every sign that we're getting and being in this moment of, this eclipse, watery kind of portal, every time we try to force, fix, get stuck in our head, it's painful. And the message from that is that's not the space we're going to find the answers. It really isn't. And it's a change, right? It's a change of how we do things. We've always been taught to think in that way, in the linear way. If I do this, this, and this, that will happen. But there's a real key. It's almost like a magnetic pull away from that, and the more, you know, a dropping into surrendering that mind. And in doing so, the keys come, you know, we create the space to hear the divine guidance. We open the space to receive what we've actually asked for. And interestingly here, so we've got more king energy and king of swords, which in many situations, it could be like head over heart, right? But really it's like speaking to this disciplined, straightforward authority, masculine authority that we have within us, that is our divine masculine. It's our assertive nature. It's the part of us that knows we can and finds a way. It's the will. It's that strength. And it's like this, so many union codes in these readings recently. It's like, yes, on one hand, there's the real contrast of the energy of the masculine and feminine, but then underlying it all, there's this deeper thread of how individually special they are and how one can't work without the other. It's just, it can't happen. So this is speaking to another king energy, speaking to your own internal authority. What are you choosing to believe about yourself? What concept of yourself do you have that has any limitation at all? Another 4 card. Wow. 4 of Wands, fire energy. So 4, again, form, the foundations, progress, stability, right? So it's all about, you've built your stability here. Don't underestimate yourself. You've built a really firm foundation within. The thing that's missing is your own authority to come into that space and make the decision of your worth, the knowing of your worth, your true capacity. This karmic trench is nothing but a perspective. Literally, it's nothing but a perspective. There's so much authoritative divine energy here. And the Fool's just popped out. When did that pop out? I didn't even see that. Wow. Wow. We've got to surrender. We've got to surrender to the Fool within us. Now, look how much the word fool has been demonized. You're a fool. Pete, it's a put down. Back in the day, I think that they call, you know, like you're a simple person, an idiot, a fool, like somebody who'd lost their mind and got chucked in a mental institution. And I don't know why I'm called to share this now, but it came as a memory last week and I'm still like, my body's tingling with it now. I remembered my nan telling me years ago, or my mum, that my nan had a brother. He was her youngest. She had like 10 siblings, Irish. Father was off on yachts. He was a captain, a seaman. And he wasn't always home. And he was very like authoritative, but in that, you know, that way. And the younger brother was sensitive. That's the only way my nan, she just said he was just like a sensitive lad. And because he wasn't manly, he put him in a home at like 19 or something, I don't know, something like that. And it absolutely broke me thinking about that. He was there his whole life because he wasn't what society or his father deemed acceptable for a masculine. A lot of the ways in which these archetypes have been negated represents this patriarchal structure of male masculinity. The Fool is purity, optimism, trust in life, that childlike, not childish, childlike sense of wonder and awe and non-attachment. Is right at the cusp of a new reality and just ready to jump in. Blind faith, ready to jump in, unlimited. This is 0 point. Unlimited possibilities. So that archetype's been kind of put down, right? Put down and kind of, yeah, made foolish. But there's the energy of it right there. 0 point. And I think a lot of us are at 0 point. We've got clear choices now. Temperance. 14 reduces another number 5. So this is about our spiritual maturity. This is about going inward to that really deep space within where we can sit with self, really honestly look at exactly where we're at, the judgment in the divine sense, plus bringing in the harmonious perspective, bringing in balance for self. So it's like, this is the maturity of your soul asking to come forward and sit and balance what you truly feel about these changes and options that are in front of you. You know, where do you need maybe to bring in some harmony or moderation and patience with yourself? 100%. I'm really feeling that. But the Temperance is a beautiful card. It's that state of allowing, but in a very conscious process, though, of opening and holding that space for self. And purpose comes from that. We've got the 8 of Swords now, which is the kind of, I guess, the devil on the shoulder of Temperance is the negative thoughts, self-imposed restriction, imprisonment, victim mentality, entrapment. This is where it's at. The bondage is in the mind. The strongholds of the devil are negative thoughts. People think it's something other than us, outside of us, something terrible, unknowable, a big monster that's going to come in. No, it's the way you think about yourself. And if it's negative, that's it. Let's not, you know, let's keep it real, because we are all responsible for this whole thing that we're in. And taking that within self. You don't deserve to speak to yourself like a piece of shit. You deserve to feel and be free and live a life of your choice, and live whatever that is. It doesn't matter what it is. It's quite simple, isn't it? All of us want to live a life that we choose on a very deep level, not a choice that we think that we're making based on some limited thing that we've been prescribed, but a true heart choice that represents a sovereign life. Freedom to move and do as we want, abundance, fairness, equality, all the things that really should be, you know, peace on this earth, and people not dominating others and having power over. All the things that humans want, it's not far off from each other, right? It really isn't far off from each other. All humans at their core have basic needs of the same thing. We all want to be free. We all want to be abundant. We want to have that feeling inside that our life is nourishing and we have a purpose. The thing that stops us is in our own mind. It's the way that we think about ourselves, and it's time to break free. Okay, so I've got the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So that's like, yeah, Knight of Pentacles. It's like hard work, focus on the mission. But reversed, it's a little bit like that. Maybe there's an issue with self-discipline. I can resonate with that. There are some things I found very hard to discipline. I've had this stubborn part of me that's like, well, no. You know, and I don't even know what that is sometimes, because I used to be very focused when I put my mind to something. But yeah, I've noticed there's a rebellious energy, maybe boredom, feeling stuck, or feeling like you're working without reward, maybe, which normally just needs a reframe in some way or the other, and a reframe definitely of a relationship to whatever that is. But this can also be perfectionism. And that's such an illusion. Like, there is no such thing as that anyway. And it's to do with like procrastination as well. If we're a perfectionist, we normally procrastinate a lot. And it's like this never-ending search for something. Wow. And the Magician's out. New beginnings. So this is bringing in the core energy. Like, let's not F about all these thoughts, all this stuff from the past, the stuff that makes us feel like crap. You know, the only thing that's going to action something different is our own mind, our own manifestations, our own creativity. The Magician is our will, the power of our will, and the most pure form of this divine masculine king energy, the power of our will, self-confidence, clarity that comes from being anchored in what is true for you. There's something around really dropping into the moment and dropping internally rather than externally. This is all about the internal magic. This is your innermost being. It's not coming in from the outside. Part of the reason why a lot of us are unhappy with our life, or we can't just break out of something or the other, is because we're living a life that was prescribed to us. And it wasn't fully our choice, and we don't fucking like it. It's not fulfilling. And there's no excitement or joy. And then we wonder why, over the years, we start to feel almost wooden and stagnant, with that feeling embedded into the body. Your Magician wants to take action. He wants to create in a different way. This is about knowing your own power, self-confidence. That's not confidence necessarily to do certain things. Again, that's an external focus. It's confidence in your own abilities, wherever that's lacking. Is that lacking? Maybe it just needs a bit of a power up. We've got the Queen of Swords, unbiased judgment towards self. We cannot be judging ourselves. It comes back to those negative thoughts. All right. The Queen of Swords. Oh, it's clear mind. It's so beautiful in that way. A clear mind is everything. It's peace of mind. It's pure freedom. From that space, you know, you're really perceptive and direct communication, clear boundaries. There's no messiness, no messy energy. Clarity, independence in the most sovereign way, unbiased judgment. Do not judge yourself. And then I've got the 10 of Swords straight out. 10 can speak of like ultimate completions. This is painful endings or wounds, that again, that loss energy. But do you know what? It is completion. Five out again in reverse. We've got all this Swords energy, all this mental energy. This is definitely the block, family. It's where we're dug into past resentments. You know, with this as well, this Five of Swords, it's like, I feel like there's a space to reconcile, make amends. Maybe there's a desire to forgive. Sometimes there's just a collapse, right? And we've just got to navigate ourselves through this. I've just looked at the bottom of the deck. And I've got the High Priestess and the Emperor. The overriding, you know, whatever rabbit hole we fall down of our own bullshit, whatever trick we believe temporarily that our mind tells us, whatever heaviness or distraction we get pulled out into, whatever story we make meaning out of, ultimately we are our own intuition. We are our sacred knowledge. We are our innermost being. There's a lot of powerful energy on this table. There's a lot of king energy, the emperor, the magician, high priestess, queens. It speaks to the overriding call to rise to the truth of who we are. And when people say that, it feels like something far out or something really abstract, but it really isn't. It's just coming to a space of sweeping away all of the chatter and the concepts that limit, because really this energy is here now already. It is who we are by innate birthright, by the way in which we function energetically. We are the magician. It's the masculine source creation energy of God. It's our innermost being. It's there within all of us. We have the capacity to be the emperor if we start to really look at this and who we are, what it means to be consciousness in a human body. And then we go into the shadow. We go into the painful endings, past resentments, all the feelings. But the guidance is always know who you are within that, and know the choice that you have, because ultimately the gift is free will. Like the magician energy, it's like the gift of life in a way, because it is the will, and where there's a will, there's a way. So there's something here around a decision, maybe. Definitely a new perspective of self is being called for. It's essential. It's like, where am I limiting myself? What am I choosing to believe about myself? And I've had to look at myself. I've had to look at this myself recently again. So I've been very focused on fine-tuning my energy in all sorts of ways for about 2 or 3 years. Clear. Because at the time I was focusing on things that were crumbling, and I was thinking that, you know, why is this happening? What's this a reflection of? But it was such a bigger process that I'm only just clear about why. And everything had to crumble in the way that it did, because I've got to 0 point. I had to get to 0 point to then learn truly how to create from the energetics. Otherwise I was too attached to one thing or the other. And I realized recently that, so, you know, actually it was nothing to do with that all this time. There was something bigger going on that I didn't have any comprehension of. And that actually what has been an overriding issue is I had a concept of myself, like an overarching concept of myself that was really limited, like around, I didn't even see it's how we see ourselves. How do we see ourselves? Do we see ourselves as a limitless being? Do we see ourselves as someone capable of the wildest desires, fantasy, love, abundance? Do we see ourselves as the CEO of our own life? Do we see ourselves as somebody who is like the Empress, has bees in any way that he or she chooses? Like, is it fully there, fully knowing that we deserve it, that we're worthy, that, you know, just by birthright, because we desire it? And not only that, but trusting that our desires come from our sacred heart, trusting that we're not selfish to want something, and knowing that that is, oh wow, the Lady of the Stars. We've got Sirius energy. How beautiful. Priestess. So let's just sit with the Isis medicine and see what she's got to offer to round all of this up. Thank you, Lady. Shana Morea Natia Saria. Lady of the Stars, Priestess of Sirius. Celestial goddess, star of unconditional love and wisdom at an extremely high vibration, brings deep soul awakening, spiritual gifts, and a high capacity for divine service. Lady of the Stars is also an empowerment of all other oracles in this deck. She tells you to pay attention because something significant is taking place right now. That's like the understatement of the century. Oh, wow. Sometimes me and my partner are like, wow, this is a lot. And it's just like, it's just such an understatement. How do you put into words any of this that's happening? Sirian energy takes the inner path and the spiritual healing journey into a whole new stratosphere. It is wise, ancient, and an extremely high vibrational energy. It takes a certain level of soul evolution to be able to consciously register Sirian light and transmit it on this planet. The heart in question must be able to consciously cultivate unconditional love for it to occur. And I feel like that's what's already being asked in this reading. It's like this cups energy, the King of Cups, and cultivating, and the neutral, the unbiased witness as well. Queen of Swords. It's like, this is what we're doing here. We're creating ourselves, crafting ourselves into the human being that can hold space for itself and receive all the information, keys, codes that are waiting for us in our higher consciousness. However, we can still receive Sirian light and healing assistance, even if we are still learning to more consistently come from unconditional love. We feel it more and more strongly as we grow spiritually. But even at any time, we can open our hearts to this divine celestial goddess and allow her, through her priestess, Lady Isis, to bless us with genuine spiritual gifts. So this is an offering of great spiritual support and a message that there is something significant that you need to be aware of in your life right now. Accepting celestial assistance in unconditional love. In unconditional love of Sirius will help you now. Interesting energy. Surrender to the heart. Allow divine love to infuse and heal, direct and unfold all aspects of your life and growth. It is total trust and surrender. And this is trust in self again. It's like an affirmation of that message. You're trusting that your own inner guidance and the desires of your heart are innately good. If you trust yourself completely, it's a lot easier to feel clear, make decisions. And it's about trusting self 100% because you understand that you're a divine instrument and that you are innately good. With absolute faith that even unexpected twists and turns will be leading you in the best direction. As you surrender into your heart, your soul light will feel more and more palpable to you, like receiving divine nectar. The more aware and connected you are to your soul, the more conscious you will be in recognizing the blessed effects of Sirian light in your life. And this is really like connecting to the deepest parts of soul, right? That's really ancestral, beyond the multi-dimensional lineage. So even if you aren't sure what those passions are, you know, this energy can nourish and transform your life, allowing it to run true into what your divine passions are, to expose, to bring forward what they are. But even if you aren't sure what those passions are yet, your soul knows. Your soul knows. You designed yourself to step into everything that you feel is coming. It's just a human that needs reassurance and resourcing, for sure. Your soul knows. And Sirian energy helps your soul to be itself on this planet. I'm feeling somebody may have had a really big activation this year over the 8-8 portal. I know it was all of this year, especially the second half of this year. And I'm really feeling for somebody. Things have really picked up for you in the last few months. And it could be a little bit not overwhelming, but I feel like a fried feeling in the brain. That's interesting, actually. I did post just a very quick technique that's just head to heart breathing, but it's very, very good for those moments. You know, like if you feel like your head's being fried or you've just had a download and your whole head is buzzing, third eye pulsing, it can be a bit intense. I'm really feeling that for somebody. because it brings blessings of heightened intuition. You know, this activating light, high frequency light and information coming through the body is going to activate your senses. You know, even just your skin, how things feel on your skin and stuff like that. You could be experiencing that, or changes in diet or hunger, all this stuff. It's all about refining and bringing into our deeper awareness healing abilities and gifts that we're not quite conscious of yet. And they're coming into the cells, they're being activated in the remembrance. And the more that we connect to our soul frequency, connect to the earth, connect to goddess energy, whatever resonates with you and however that aligns for you, the more that we are essentially allowing the process, you know, allowing this beautiful high frequency to come through our consciousness and into our body. So our bodies are starting to get a little bit more used to feeling different frequencies, feeling higher frequencies, body getting a little bit of a reframe about what is comfortable and what isn't. Because I do think we have to reframe that. We can get very stuck. I was quite stuck in different, what I perceived was comfort, and I'd had a whole host of decisions around what I could and couldn't do. Like for a year, I told myself I couldn't go wild camping. Oh no, I can't go without my bed. You know, I'd made a lot of those type of statements about what I can and can't do. And when I actually thought about it, I was like, come on, Sarah, come on. You know, one, it's not going to kill you. Two, you actually do want to do it. And you're just coming out with all these things just used to fall out of my mouth. Oh no, I think, when did I decide that? When did I make a decision where I'm basically limiting myself in some way or the other from an experience, right? So just because we don't know what's coming in, or, you know, it's all soothed actually and provided for in that deeper divine relationship space. If you have been questioning your evolution, starting to wonder if you're really just at the beginning of becoming the student again, right? That's not such a bad thing, to be fair. Learn, teach, simulation, as my friend says. Starting to wonder if you're beginning or not really in initiation at all, then this card is a divine acknowledgement of the power, light, and evolution of your soul vibration, that there is refinement and advancement there. This is not grandiose. In fact, one way to know whether this guidance is genuinely for you is that you will feel peaceful and humble within you as you receive the guidance. You will feel gently validated and affirmed within, not puffed up with false pride or ego. You will feel inspired and uplifted to continue with your inner work, not in need of telling others how advanced you are spiritually. If you feel inflated or better than others in any way, this is not the guidance for you, at least at this time. Instead, the guidance for you is to realize that you are beautiful, you are worthy, and the part of you that is comparing yourself to others, hoping to find that you are better, is suffering from an emptiness within that doesn't know that you are beautiful and worthy. It is wiser to spend some time filling that inner emptiness with your own acknowledgement of your worth than trying to trump others. Better to go inside the emptiness until you find the seed of love and light within than to seek external appearances to make you heal. The latter just will not work. The Oracle of the Lady of the Stars is also an empowerment. It enhances, amplifies, and strengthens any other Oracle cards that come with it. It's a call to pay special attention to everything in your life, and that you are guided that you will grow greatly through lessons or learnings specified in any message to you at the moment. Make it a priority in your awareness at this time in order for deepest spiritual awakening to occur. There is a blessing of divine grace here. And everything's coming back to the power within and seeing yourself differently, seeing self in a different light. Whoever you know yourself to be, you haven't even started. So I think that closes us out for tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being your beautiful self. I'm sending you so much love. And I look forward to the next time I see you. Love you.